see if you can see the pencil. I'm going to try to get a darker pencil. And again, I'm using something as a reference, but I'm going to change it into my own thing. Just a starting point for me. So that's the circle of her head. It's just like a robe coming around her arm. I'm going to do a couple layers of sketching to get it right. I'm just doing the basic shapes right now to try to get her on the piece of cardboard. I may use some paper or magazine and then some three-dimensional objects. And I'm going to do some of it in drawing as well to create a contrast. This is her dress. I'm going to kind of make her dress flow out to the edges. I want to put a lot of like pattern shapes in here. And there is kind of a circle around her. Let me do her hair first, I'm sorry. It has, the card that I'm using has kind of an art nouveau style. All right, and there's kind of a circle around her. If you want to make perfect circles, you can trace things like cups. I'm kind of freehanding this. All right, now here it looks like she has, in the picture it looks like she has wings. I may actually use some paint in this too. Okay, so now I'm gonna do, sorry, this looks like it's coming out a little too far over here. I'm gonna do a little bit of drawing. Getting my eraser, I'm gonna erase some of the sketching lines. I'm just going to do a harder line right now. And I'm not doing all the details because I'm going to do a lot of this in collage, but I'm doing some of them. So I want there to be pattern and texture on here. I'm just making my lines a little bit darker. Okay, so I want to make this a little bit three-dimensional, but I'm going to be doing that later. Okay, so I got 3 pieces of paper. I'm going to show them to you. This one, and this one. And I'm trying to decide what color. I'm going to do her dress first. I think maybe this one. But I'm going to put stuff on top of it, but I'm going to collage this on top of her dress. I'm just looking for my scissors. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm not gonna, well, let me see. Do I want to try to cut out a piece that's the exact shape of her dress, or would that be too hard? I was thinking of cutting out smaller pieces, but I'm gonna try to cut out a piece. I'm kind of eyeballing this. That's the shape of her dress, the bottom of her dress. I'm not doing it exactly, but there's ways you could do it exactly. Which would be, what you would do is you would get a piece of tracing paper. Actually, I'm going to show you. Hold on. I'm going to stop this video here. So first, I'm going to show you frottage. So I found this thing that has texture. And if you want to use frottage in your work, you get a piece of paper, you put it under, and you can rub a pencil or a piece of charcoal. I find that charcoal is a little bit easier, but it's messy. But you rub it, so it's under the paper, and then you rub a pencil or a piece of charcoal over it, and you get the pattern of that object. Okay, that's the first thing. And give me 1 second. So I got a piece of tracing paper. So I'm going to trace. Let me show you how you would make it exactly. So this is just a regular piece of tracing paper. The pencil that I chose to use is a little bit darker because I want it to rub off on the other paper. So I'm going to trace this line. Oops. This is just a very dark pencil. And I'm going to trace this line. And I'm tracing the line on the bottom. Just give me an idea of where it ends. Whoops. Okay, so here's my tracing paper. Now I'm going to get this paper to where I started, and I'm going to turn this tracing paper around. Okay. And the pencil, and I'm going to retrace it, and the pencil should rub off on it. Let's see. I'm trying to trace the line exactly, and I'm putting a lot of pressure on it. And then I'm going to do it on the other side. Whoops. You want to stay on the line, because if you're not on the line, it'll have nothing to imprint. Okay, hold on. I'm going outside of here and just tracing this edge. You can't see. Hold on. And then I'm going to trace the bottom line. Okay, let's see if it showed up. It did. It's kind of light, but you can see it here, and it's still dark enough for me to use it. So I'm going to cut this shape out. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but this would be better, easier for me to make a large shape. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to do the other side now. You can use a magazine, or I just have these pattern papers. They're like wallpaper samples, but they work well for collage. Okay, let's see if it looks like the shape of the skirt. It's not exact. Oh, it's the wrong way. So I should have done it on the back. Oh, this is not right. I should have turned it over and done it on the white side. So let me show you an example of that. I'm going to do the rest of her dress, and then I'll finish this one. I have to get another piece of paper. Okay, so I'm going to look at this area, and I'm going to get my piece of tracing paper. Okay. And I'm going to get my pencil. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did it the wrong way. Okay, so I'm going to go right here. And I'm just tracing this shape. Okay, that's that shape. So to do it right, I'm so sorry I did it wrong. I was thinking that, but then I was like, okay, so I'm going to turn this over on the white side. That way I'll get a better line as well. And then I turn the tracing paper over so the pencil is on the bottom. And I'm going to trace it. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to cut this shape out. I'm just going to cut this smaller. And I'm cutting this out, and we'll see if it fits. I may use some acrylic paint in this as well. I'm not sure yet. Okay. There we go. Perfect. So now, let me raise this up. I'm just creating one pattern to start with, and then I'm going to have it mix with other patterns and textures. So now I'm going to do this shape. And again, you may get a few videos for this one, just because it's a lot of different steps. So I'm putting the tracing paper here. And I want to trace the shape of the sleeve. I'm not tracing the inner part. I'm going to do that later on the piece of work. Oh, that's not the sleeve. What happened here? It's just this. That's the wing. There we go. So now I'm going to get another piece of this, and I'm going to turn it over and trace exactly along the line. Okay. Now I have this shape. I'm cutting this shape out. All right, let's see how this looks. There we go. So now we have those two pieces. And if you'll excuse me for 1 second, I'm just going to get another piece of tracing paper. Actually, I can probably use the same one. Hold on, I'm sorry. Here we go. So I'm going to move. I probably don't need another one. So I'm just going to do this again. Or actually, I need another piece of print paper. I'm so sorry. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. This was the only piece of paper like this that I have. So I'm going to see if I can make this piece work, because I really like this here. I don't have another paper that's the same color as this. That looks all right. So I'm going to glue that and add a little bit extra over onto this side. All right, so I'm going to get some glue out and glue these pieces down. Again, this is just a start. I'm going to add more things to the painting. I'm just putting some glue in here. So I have some glue in one of these circles. And I'm just going to use my fingers. So I'm going to use this to start. So you want to, if you can use one pattern or texture or more than one. If you use more than one, you want to find things that work well together. Okay, so now I'm going to do this. Just putting some glue on the back. I'm trying not to put really too much because I don't want it to make it crinkle. This piece of paper is it's not like a piece of cardboard, but it's a little bit thicker than a magazine paper, so I know it's not going to crinkle as much. Magazine pieces of paper are very, very thin. So that's why you're getting all those kind of glue lines on them. That looks okay. All right. So there we go. That's a start. But this piece, since I didn't cut this piece correctly, there's some things I need to fix. Let me move this somewhere. And I'm going to show you. So I need to fix the bottom, this side over here, because it's not going to the edge and it's coming off of this side. So I'm going to cut this right here. It's still crinkled a little bit, but not as much as a piece of magazine paper. Okay. And I'm just getting this little edge that I have. I'm going to cut a piece like this to put along the bottom. Now it's creating contrasting patterns, but it's okay, I don't mind. So I'm going to start putting glue on this. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this little tiny piece off. And then I'm going to put a little piece right here. Okay. Do I need to cut this to curve it? Let me see. So I'm putting it right here, and then I'm getting, so you can see a little bit more, I'm getting a pencil to draw where I want the shape to kind of continue. That's good enough. So part of it, I used a picture, but I'm definitely not copying the picture. Again, I know I keep saying the same thing, but that's not cheating to use a picture as a source. Okay, so let's put this down. All right, so that's my start. Okay. Use in any of your designs if you want. And I'm going to start with the moon. or the sun, I don't know what it is. I'm going to say moon, and I'm going to make it pink. Just going to get some color into this, and then I'm going to let it dry. So I'm combining media here. Okay, so you can see better. I want the colors that I'm using to work together. Acrylic paint, if you're using paint, I suggest using a piece of cardboard and not a piece of paper. It's like the watercolor or the ink, it doesn't, the paper doesn't hold it as well, or you can put a piece of paper on a piece of cardboard. Or you can use a canvas. I was actually thinking of using a canvas for this, but I was looking and I didn't have any. Okay, so now this is the wing. And this is the wing on this side. I guess she has the wings. A bit over that color there. And she has a belt. I'm gonna, since I have my pink out, I'm gonna put in her belt on top of here. And I'm gonna add other materials, like maybe some markers and stuff, but I'm starting with paint. Okay, so now, I hope you didn't see me right there. I was bending over. I'm gonna get green, so I put a hill in for the hill. And I'm using acrylic. I'm dipping my brush into the water and I'm wiping it off. And I'm just going to paint this area green. Sorry, I got some water on my brush. I'm trying to get these little clumps of paint out because I want it to be flat. So I'm going to do this side. Again, the work is not hard, but it's time consuming. All right. So now I'm going to go, I'm washing my brush off. I'm not doing like detailed painting. I'm just doing a little bit of painting. And I'm going to go dark blue right here. I may do a couple different blues for this guy. Or I may do the whole thing dark blue. I'm not sure yet. Hold on. Maybe I'm going to do it all. We'll see. Dark blue. I don't want to make it too complicated because I'm going to add a lot of collage stuff to create pattern and texture. Oops. If you paint and you see, like in here, it's kind of see-through, you can do another layer. This is not, the green and the pink are not see-through because they're opaque, and the blue is see-through because it is transparent, meaning it's a see-through paint. Different colors have different properties. Oops. I just got some green on here from my hand. Oh well. All right, let me keep going. So again, if you're doing something like this, you can stop and wait till it dries. You don't want to make a mess. Have a couple things going. Like you can have something else that you're doing, like sewing or homework, and then do a layer on this, let it dry. Do some homework, do a layer on this, let it dry. I think I'll leave the whole background dark blue. Okay, so now I'm just going to go to this piece over here. And I may do another layer. Just give me a second. Because it is transparent and I'm seeing some of the cardboard through the paint. Whoops, I thought I need to fix this too. That doesn't look horrible. Okay. And I may do the other layer. We'll see. Hold on. I may have to let it dry before I do the other layer. We'll see. But I still have some more to do. Acrylic, I'm using acrylic. So acrylic paint dries pretty fast, in like 5 minutes. All right, so I'm gonna do her wings of light blue. For the small areas, I'm kind of turning this around and using the tip of the brush. And there's a little piece of a wing peeping out over here. I need to add in some more pink just to define that. And I want to see what her hair would look like as a lavender. Yep, I like it. I didn't do her skin. I'm just thinking to myself. I have to do her skin. So I'm getting the hair. There's still some blue in the brush. That's fine. I was gonna do her hair blue at first, but I thought it would look really nice blue, but then I was like, it's gonna run into the wings and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But I am gonna do the top blue. I'm gonna have it like two-toned hair. If you want to mix colors in acrylic, you need to be quick because it dries so fast. So I'm going to have it blend into the purple or the lavender. Okay, so now I'm going to get my, I don't, let me see. I'm going to make her, hold on, her head a little bit bigger over here. Her hair. It looks too skinny. Oops. All right. Does that look better? All right. So now I'm going to get a little bit of pink and correct this. Just trying to get the white out. And I'm going to put some right here. And let me see if I can get some white out of here. I didn't do her skin, so I need to, so this is kind of empty, which is why I said, let me see. So when you get a really empty tube, if you've used it so much, like I know I'm not going to get anything out of here. So I'm going to cut it. I cut it and I get the rest of the paint out. Give me 1 second. So let's see. Oh, this paint is dry. That's why it wasn't coming out. Okay, I'm going to, actually, I won't stop here. I'll do the rest of my blue. And then I'll stop and I'll get another white. So I'm just going to do another layer of blue here. Just to make it nice and clean. See how much better that looks? That's very nice. A lot nicer than this kind of lumpy, blue where you can see areas of cardboard through it. Not lumpy in texture, but lumpy in color. Let's get this down. Getting the rest of my blue. Whoops, I messed up some of the paint again. I need to find that little blue I was using and get some more paint just to finish the top. There may not be any more blue in here. We'll see what I can do. Okay, I got some. All right, I'm going to stop here. I put some stuff out here. This is the kind of stuff that I'm going to use, but I'm going to take it off and I'm going to use markers to start before I use this stuff. And I'm going to do an outline. Moving this stuff over. And I'm just clearing this space off. So I'm first going to do an outline. And I got a dark blue. Whoops, I dropped something. Okay, so here's my dark blue. And I'm just going over the paint and the paper. I just got a dark blue and a dark green. But this is going to look much better with an outline. All right. You could also do this in paint. I just thought it would be easier to do with marker. There we go. It's starting to look a little bit better. I'm going to go right here. I don't know if I'm going to do the outline of what, well, we'll see. I'm going to do the wing. I was going to say, I don't know if I'm going to do the outline of where it hits the blue sky because the colors are almost the same. We'll see. I'm going to turn this marker over to the other side. Let's see. Yeah, that works better. Okay, so now there we go. And then I'm going to do the hair. I'm switching the side of the marker again. Sometimes it's hard. The marker doesn't really show up on the paint. It's a little bit challenging. Okay, so now I need to do this line. Okay, and some right here. Right here. I put in some white dots for the stars. Can't really see this, but I'm going to put it here maybe. Whoops. Okay, so I got a dark blue and a dark green. I got a dark green because I wanted to make this area more interesting. So I'm going to put a little bit of grass in here. Just to change, just to add, I mean, it's a little plain right now. I want to add areas of interest, but I want to add them slowly. Just trying to make this green shape more interesting. There we go. I'm going to leave it like that. Give me 1 second. And I could have done that with paint as well, but I just found a little bit of a darker green. So again, you're focusing on pattern and texture, but you're still using things that you learned before. Unity and variety, symmetry, emphasis, contrast, line, shape. Hold on. But that just really makes it adding that little bit of grass makes it just a little bit more interesting. And I'm focusing on one thing at a time. I'm just looking at it as I'm working on it, figuring out what I need to add to make it more interesting. So take your time, and it's like you can't pre-plan everything before you start. Part of it happens while you're doing it. right? You start doing it and you see what happens. That side doesn't work. And you see how the picture evolves. This green is kind of running out. Hold on. So you don't have to add collage elements, but you can if you want to. Let me give this green a rest and outline these pieces of grass in a dark blue. Okay, let me try the green again. Not working. I may need to let it rest for longer. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for right now. I have a couple more things that I want to add. And I want to show you this tape. I have this tape and I thought that would be really pretty to put on in some way. So I'm going to get a piece of it if I can and see what I can do. Just going to cut a piece and then I'm going to form it to the picture. Okay. Before I put it down, I'm saying, do I think this looks interesting or do I think this looks weird? Do I want a layer of sky to be flowery? Yes, I do. So I'm going to have to cut small pieces to make it fit in. I can start with this and then, whoops. So this is just a piece of tape. You can get these at like Rite Aid. There we go. But I need to fit it. So I'm going to cut this. I'm sorry, I'm just cutting the edge off. And I want another piece. I'm going to put this right over it. Does that look weird? No, I like it. Thought it was good. So before I add anything, I'm just testing, you know. But I need to make a piece that fits in right here. So I'm just getting another piece. And I'm going to get a small piece like this to fit this in here. And another small piece to fit it on the other part. And here we go. I like it. So remember, you're going to test things before you try them. And then I'm going to come over to the other side. I want it on both sides. Just like a layer of sky. I know it looks weird, but it looks unrealistic. Not weird. It doesn't look realistic, but we're doing pattern right now. So it doesn't have to be realistic. So I'm going to cut a piece of this. Let me just put this down and then cut. I'm going to have to shape the pieces to fit in, and I'm going to cut it right here. Okay, so I need a little piece that's going to fit in right here. Cutting kind of a triangle. There we go. And then I need to fill in these little tiny areas. So I'm just cutting some small pieces. Right here, I'm going to wrap it over the edge. Okay. And I was thinking, well, let me finish this before I tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking, do I want to do the wings in this tape too? Let me just kind of see. Maybe. Get a piece here. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. Enjoy the process while you're doing this. Whoops, that wasn't quite right. Let me see if I can fix it. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here. I think I do want to do the wings. The wings look too plain to me. So I'm going to get another piece. And put it down on the wings. But I need to make smaller pieces. Just cutting this up a little bit. And sticking them on the side of my table. Okay, hold on. So now I'm going to put some here. I think that's going to make the wings pop out. Hold on. That piece doesn't fit. Another piece right here. If you're a real perfectionist, you could try to actually cut this piece out of the tape, but that might be a little bit challenging. I'm going to put a piece right here. And I need another piece for right here. Do I like it? Yes. So sometimes you might not do things that you like. So say I did this and I didn't like the way it turned out. I could just paint over it with the light blue again. Nope. Let me try this. There we go. And going to do some right here. Just getting really tiny pieces. See if this fits in here. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Okay. And I'm kind of going for an Art Nouveau type of look to this. I could have made this a little curvy, but we'll see about that. I have another piece of paper. So this looks too plain to me. Before I even start collaging things, I want to put this in it in some way. On the bottom, but I'm going to curve it. I need to see the lines. I'm going to trace on here. Well, I'm kind of imagining. You can imagine or trace. Okay. I'm going to cut this piece out and see how it looks, just to add a little bit more interest to the pattern on the dress. Let's see how it looks. Okay, let's see. I need a little more over here. I'm going to say yes to this. So I'm going to glue this down, and I'll reshape it once I'm done. I'm just putting some glue on it. Okay, let's see. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to cut right here. And I'm going to put this little piece, I'm going to fill in the space. Right here. And I want another little piece for that area. That works fine. All right. Let me move this. And let me get my dark green again and try to fix this grass. Sometimes the markers just need time to rest, but this marker seems like it's running out. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into my blue because I kind of erased some of this blue line, so I'm just going to fix it up. Okay, And before I start collaging, I'm just going to put some stuff on here to see how it would look. Stuff I have, and then I'm going to take a little break and come back. Because this video is gone for quite a long time. I'm going to try to put bigger things at the bottom. I chose these things by color. So the pink things are going with the pink area. And these are types of things that you can just go into Michael's and get. So I want to create a pattern. But just to show you how, how I'm working. And this is going to make it much more interesting. I may not have it over all parts of the paper. I mean, you can. That, to me, that might make it a little bit too busy. Do I want some in the sky? I'm going to move these around before I glue them. I'm just kind of thinking right now. Or, you know, putting stuff in to see how it will look. So now I'm actually creating a texture, right? A three-dimensional texture because these things kind of pop up. There's some stars. And I haven't glued, I'm just kind of experimenting right now. You could take a couple hours moving this stuff around. So I'm going to stop here and then I'm going to come back, okay? Just getting some more stuff. Everything in place. I haven't glued yet. So what I was trying to do is, you can see the top, put some blue beads in the sky, some red beads on the dress, red and pink, and they're larger down here and they get smaller as you go up, and some green beads on the grass. I want to leave some areas flat for variety, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue these down. Whoops, crazy glue is really good if you're having trouble making things stick with regular glue. And I put them in place already, and it took me a while. I kind of moved stuff around a couple times to get it how I wanted it. I have all these things because I use them in my paintings, but you can go to Michael's. You can also look online. If you want something like this, you don't have to use stuff like this. You can find stuff like old bottle caps as well to use. So I'm just gluing these down. Whoops, I did that one on the wrong side. Hold on. The other side looked a little weird. Trying to do them in order. And this will, if you do something like this, you're going to take quite a bit of time organizing these to get them to look the way you want them to. You might have to move them around a couple times. So I'm creating a pattern and a texture, and there are a couple of different patterns in this piece, which is what I wanted. So I'm going to just get some more glue. And put these down. It's going to take a little bit of time, and I have something in mind for the hair, but Let's get these on first. These are part of like, these pink things are part of like a Jesus bracelet. You're probably wondering why I have all this stuff. I use them in my paintings. So I collect stuff. Some of it is from, I just get on the street. I go to yard sales and I always collect stuff like this when I have the chance because I use stuff like this in my paintings. Like this I just found on the street, but it's like really cool. I have a lot of bottle caps that I pick up as well. Every time I see a bottle cap, I pick it up. And I do paintings. In my paintings, I do paintings like this, which are like part painting and part collage. That's why I have all this stuff. But if you don't have it, you can go, a thrift store. Michael's has a lot of stuff. Michael's might be a little expensive. Like Salvation Army, I bet would have some stuff like this. Any craft store, Joann's. It's not sticking. I need more glue on this one. Let me move this. Hold on. Let me put this one up here. See, I'm still moving them around. Trying to see where the colors best fit next to other colors. And this is like painting or drawing, but it's just doing it with stuff that you find. Moving this over a little bit. If you're using regular glue like I am, I'm just using like an Elmer's glue. You're gonna give it some time. Like don't get it vertical quickly. Do this and let it sit for, I'm gonna say, a day before you pick it up. Crazy glue is pretty quick. I use crazy glue a lot because I do work like this and this stuff starts falling off. But I wear gloves because it sticks. It's so strong it sometimes sticks your fingers together. I'm gonna move this and put something else in there. The smaller pieces. It's hard to get stuff to stick. So, you can also, if you're really getting into this and want to do more of this, you can get a hot glue gun. I don't have one of those, but I want to get one. It's time consuming to organize them and to glue them. Remember, you don't have to do the same thing I do. You could do like a drawing of different textures and patterns. You could do frottage, which I showed you before. You can do a collage with magazines, part drawing, part collage, or all collage. You could do something where you're painting the actual texture of the object, like a pineapple. And why I said pineapple is I'm thinking of, there was an abstract in one of the chapters in Art Theory and Practice, because we did it a long time ago, but there was abstract texture and there was a picture of a pineapple. And the picture of the pineapple had globs of paint, so it was actual texture. So you could do something like that if you wanted as well. Okay. I can get really picky about these things. Okay, so now I'm going to do the greens. We're almost done. And that took quite a while to draw, the drawing, the cutting, the painting, finding the stuff, and gluing it down. But I do, when I do stuff like this, again, so I try to enhance areas of color. So like on the red part, I put like red, pinks, and purples, and then I have some variation. I add like in here, there's all pinks, and then there's a little red. But they're all the things that I'm adding, and you don't have to do this. I'm just trying to explain like some of the processes. All the things that I'm adding are the same color as the color that I'm putting them on. So that's giving it some form of unity. I don't want to make it too, since there's so many different beads and there's so many different textures already, I want to have something to bring it together or to unify it or to give it harmony. And for this piece, that's the reds here, the green, the reds here, this didn't stick, the greens in it on the green, the blues on the blue, right? So it doesn't get too, out there. Like if there's reds and pinks and greens all over, it's going to be too busy. So I'm going to put a little bit more blue here. And I'm going to put my ring of stars, which are not all, sorry, let me move that. My ring of stars are not all stars. I started out doing them all as stars, but there's a little bit of glue on there. Hold on, it's like dried glue. But I thought doing them different beads would be more interesting. There we go. And I need to do something with the hair. And I have a couple extra stars. I think I'm going to put these in the corner. And they're different than these stars. Mind you, I collect these. So that's why I have these. So there's a star. I have a green star. I'm going to put the green star in the green. It's kind of supposed to be like, I started with a tarot card, right? But I really, that was kind of like my starting point. But this is supposed to be like a celestial person, right? For the hair, so stars inside and outside, right? And for the hair, I also have this wire stuff that has stars on it. And this is from something like a shop like Party City. So I'm going to try to, oops, this is going to be hard to stick down. I'm bending this wire so it's like in the right shape of the hair, right? Do I want more than one, or do I think one is enough? Do I want to add a whole bunch of these wires or just one? I think one is enough. Okay. There we are. All right, so you see, let me show you the whole thing before I glue this down, because what I'm going to do, since this goes up and down, I'm going to put like a book on top of this to let it dry. After I glue it, let me raise this up just so you see that's how I want the hair to be. And you don't need to see me glue it, but I'm going to put white glue on it, and then I'm going to press it down with like a heavy book and let it sit there for a couple of hours to make it stick. Okay, but there's the bottom and there's the top. And I'm happy with it. I may want to add more, but I think you have the idea for now. And I need to let it sit and dry. So I'm going to stop here.